So today we went to IKEA to have a look for all the things crafty, especially storage solutions. So the first thing I found were these baskets, which you could hang up from these IKEA racks as well, but you could also hang them up from like single hooks, but I thought you could put yarn in those or all sorts of crafty bits and bobs. There was a room set up, this was actually a bedroom, where they've got these racks with different things hooked up, including the baskets, which I thought was a nice idea. They've got these footstools which have a lot of lovely crafty storage inside, I thought, which are quite a nice hexagon shape as well. And then these trays I thought were absolutely brilliant because they had these big handles on the top. So I thought you could carry your crafty projects around with you and then lay it down when you wanted to actually use them, like if you're doing some hand sewing or English paper piecing or something like that. I liked these little coffee tables which had some really nice storage underneath. I thought you could put project bags under there or all sorts of blankets and things, but they looked really nice. And there was another range of things that were a bit similar there on one of the shelves. You can see one here without all the bits and bobs dressing it up. They had some of the bins that I showed in the last IKEA video, and they were on sale as well, so they were a really good price. They had some side tables which I thought were ideal to put things next to the sofa that you're doing, because I find that I craft quite a lot on the sofa, so project bags and projects could be stored quite nice and neatly. And they also had this coffee table with quite a lot of storage underneath where you could put a bit of fabric stash in there, I thought. I saw this footstool which had a nice amount of storage inside it as well, and it also doubles up as a really squishy footstool. They had no end of different little baskets, but I thought these in particular were quite nice because they looked like an unusual shape, but they still had a nice look to them as well. They had a trolley for sale, but they designed it, I think, to put things for exercise. Like you could put yoga mats in that long storage area at the end, and I thought, well, maybe you might have some rolls of plastics and things for crafting, which might be quite useful, and that would obviously push around as well, as it's a trolley. They had some really nice sort of wicker shelving, which I thought was really nice, that I'd not seen before. And I thought this was really nice. They do a new billy, which is a type of bookcase, but with a little desk on it as well. So you could make yourself a little crafty nook in the corner of a room if you haven't got an amazing amount of space. So I thought that was good. They had these racks that go on the wall that you could pin things to, which I think you could decorate quite nicely with project ideas. They had these wall baskets, which will also be quite good storage as well. They also had these kitchen, well, I don't know if they're specifically designed for the kitchen, but they had some in the kitchen with jars with pasta in, but I thought those could be used for storing things in jars in the craft room. They had some net baskets, which I suppose if you're a crocheter already or a knitter, you could make one yourself, but they do have some that I thought was quite an attractive bit of storage as well. They had some matching jars, which I thought you could put little bits and bobs in on shelves. I've got a video where I showed how I put some picture shelves with some jars on, which I'll leave a link to in the description bar down below. But there were these cork heat pads, but I thought you could use them actually to block things on, like if you're doing a crochet square you could block them on those. These are supposed to be for bag storage, but I've seen in other craft rooms where they've actually put rolls of plastics for using on the Cricut. So I found these really cute little plastic storage boxes. So IKEA designed it to have like a pole attachment to the wall where you can hook them on, but I found that they'd be good to go on one of the trolleys, and I've got one of these trolleys in my craft room, so I thought I'd get a couple of those to store some bits and bobs. There is a whole range of these bar attachments that attach to your wall, and then you can put lots of things on, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I found my chair that I have in my craft room. This is the exact one that I've got in this colour. It was £115. It was actually reduced from the price that I paid for it, but I'm really pleased with my chair and it's really comfortable. They do quite a nice range of swivel chairs in IKEA, which are a little bit more attractive than the standard sort of office chair, which is nice. So they have these sort of pegboard baskets, which I think is brilliant if you've got multiple areas that you want to use the same tools in, so you can carry from one place to another. They had no end of different types of lighting, which is absolutely brilliant. It's not too expensive as well, which is good. This table was really good because the attachment at the front actually rolled out, so it's another work area which you can roll away out of the way. That's the Mom range, and I just thought that was a brilliant idea. I saw these sort of trolleys but shelves at the same time, so I thought if you had a really big craft room you could actually have this and move it from one place to another and have quite a lot of storage. It's originally designed for plants, I think. These are designed as sort of bedside tables, but I thought that they'd be really good for sort of side of the sofa storage, but they're really inexpensive as well. And here's one that they'd actually dressed up a little bit. And they do some really nice colours, being the blue and the coral colour. This I thought was a genius idea. This is from in the children's area, and it's obviously for children to brush up little bits of dirt and put them in the bin. But I bought one for my craft room to clean up the mess because I have a lot of lint from my sewing machine, so I think that's a really good idea to have a little mini brush. And then they had these storage rack things, which I thought was a really nice idea to keep everything all together in one place. They had stands to put your iPad on, which I thought was a really good idea. They were about £5, which I thought was a reasonable price, but they did come up a little bit heavy, so I didn't purchase one this time. They had quite a few different little carrying buckets I thought that you could put bits and bobs in, especially for sort of paints and all things like that. They had them in a couple of different colours, and then these ones down here actually had multiple compartments for all different things, so I thought that they'd be quite useful. These are like a smaller version of the boxes that you put in the collapse units that I'd not seen before. Thought you could perhaps put a little knitting project in there, or fat quarters or something. They had these paper or cardboard trays to organise inside drawers, which I think is really nice because we have a lot of plastic, don't we? So that was a nice change. They always have loads of baskets, but I thought that these were particularly nice, the way they were sort of woven and sewn together. And there was a little tiny little version of like a rope basket as well, which I thought was really nice. A little bit squashed, this one, but still useful nonetheless. These are the picture frame shelves that I used in a recent project. I'll leave a link to that project video down below. And last of all, I picked up one of these dustpan and brushes. They're sort of mini size, and I thought that they would be ideal to tidy up the craft room or get rid of all that lint and dust from lots of sewing and knitting. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next video. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, it just helps the channel reach more people. Bye!